If you don't think that we have a deep down and dirty recession coming, you better check yourself. The Great Depression was definitely the worst economic downturn in the history of the industrialized world, lasting from 1929 all the way through 1939. It began after the stock market crash of October in 1929, which sent Wall Street into a complete panic and actually wiped out millions of investors. We may be looking at something much worse than that, and this recession could potentially last just as long or even longer. The difference between a recession and a depression is that a recession usually lasts around 5 to maybe even 10 years, but a depression is a really bad recession that can last even longer. Here's an important question that we all need to consider. Is the recession going to have an impact on the final expense agent, on us? In this video, I'm going to be answering that question, and we're also going to talk about how this recession is unlike anything that we've ever seen before. All of this and more coming up next. Back in the day, we used to go to the video store to rent movies, and you'd go to the record store to buy music, and you'd go to the bookstore to buy books, right? A while ago, some pretty smart people came to the conclusion that we, human beings, would rather buy things online from home, sitting on the couch, than have to go to a physical location or store to buy them. These smart folks were right, and that actually started the beginning of the Amazon revolution, which, as time goes on, we've been noticing what most refer to as the Amazon effect. Before we get into it, this is when I'm going to ask that you give the video a big old thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed for some reason, now would be a good time to do that, especially since we're putting out new content every single week. Also, if you'd like a copy of our Objections Super File, this zip file has scripts on overcoming objections while calling to set appointments, door knocking leads, and even when you close the sale. Just stick around to the end of the video, and I'm going to show you how to get this bad boy for yourself. Now, let me start off with some good news. No, the recession will not have much effect, if any, to the final expense agent. I mean, our clients are still in the need of burial insurance because people are still dying. And since most of our specific target market actually live off of Social Security and their monthly income won't be changing at all, the recession won't have any effect on them. So the final expense industry will continue to boom and will continue to be extremely lucrative for the typical final expense agent, especially the good ones, the ones that work hard and have a really strong work ethic. Last year when I was talking about how we were probably going to end up in a recession this year, big surprise, apparently I was right. However, like everyone else, I never imagined a virus, this freaking thing that's going on out there would actually bring us to our knees. Think about it. With the Amazon effect, people are buying more and more things online from home. Not just books and music, but clothing and groceries. And we're doing a lot less and less shopping in stores and in malls. Do you think this virus is going to pass and everyone's going to say, now that everything is better, let's all go hang out at the mall again? Hell no, dude. A lot of us are never going to go walk into a mall again. And some people will probably never shake another hand ever again, at least not without some type of hesitation. We now have a new normal. And think about this. In 2 years from now, you're going to be hesitantly shaking someone's hand only to pull out the hand sanitizer the second that they walk away. So right off the bat, I don't think we're ever going to be inclined to have the same type of physical contact with people or even be part of large groups of people in the same exact way that we did pre-virus. So that's changed forever. And the way we shop has changed too. A few months ago, I went to a JCPenney to buy a pair of jeans. Very simple, very normal. I found the jeans that I wanted, got the right size, they fit, they look good. Then what I did was I pulled out my smartphone while I was actually still in the dressing room, and this is a true story. I went to Amazon to look them up and actually found the same exact jeans for $15 less. So, of course, what did I do? I ordered them on Amazon. Took my pants off that I was wearing, put them back on the shelf, and I went home. I believe this will be a trend where stores will have locations to actually go to and try things on. Then you can order them online from the store. Unfortunately, I don't see this happening enough where it slows down the destructive nature of, the Amazon effect or the recession. In other words, the malls and stores are still going to be closing more and more, and it's going to get harder and harder and harder for the mom and pop shops, the little stores and smaller businesses to actually make it. So as the stores and malls all start to shut down and people start spending more and more money remotely, more and more people are going to lose their jobs. Unfortunately, losing their homes because they can't afford to pay their mortgages. So now what's going to happen is the real estate market is going to suffer big time. Meanwhile, the commercial real estate market will continue to decline also, which I think is going to be really, really bad, like potentially horrible, because think about it. Real estate money itself creates jobs and has a huge effect on our economy. Meanwhile, there's no way the stock market is going to do well while all this is going on, right? That won't make sense. And my prediction is that this is all going to happen slowly and painfully over the next few years, which will all add to the worst recession that we're going to see in our lifetime. What are smart people going to do? Oh, we're going to get wealthier, guys. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to keep selling Final Expense, keep getting those renewal checks while continuing to grow our Final Expense insurance agency. Meanwhile, we're going to keep investing into safe, long-term mutual funds. And no, I will not invest into real estate. I mean, that would kind of be stupid, knowing what we already know, right? With Final Expense sales, even with the virus going on and all the quarantine measures that, we went through and have been doing or going through, most of our top producers are actually still going out to sell Final Expense on a face-to-face basis. Some of the producers have backed off just to be safe, but I do find it interesting that, most of the producers are still hitting big production numbers, that, the same numbers that they've always hit, like as if nothing's changed. Meanwhile, the agents that write a little bit of business here and there are still doing what they've always been doing too. So what I'm getting at, the trend I'm seeing with the Final Expense agents, even during the pandemic, is that very little production has changed overall. And that most agents are still doing their thing, still closing sales and still making a decent living. And of course, more and more agents are selling Final Expense over the phone. I mean, it's easy to do remotely if you know what you're doing, if you have the right platform. I mean, we're using live transfers, inbound live transfer leads to write a lot of applications from home, which means no driving around, no door knocking leads, just business as usual. And I'm talking really good closing rates too. A talented producer can easily close like 1 out of 4 to even more like 30% of the people that they speak with these live inbound transfers. I mean, seriously, these things are awesome. If you'd like a copy of the objections super file that I mentioned earlier in the video, the one with the scripts on overcoming the different types of objections that we get selling Final Expense insurance, just shoot me an email at doug@ufesonline.com. Or if you'd like information on maybe joining our Final Expense sales team, you can shoot me an email at that same address. Remember, guys, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now, get out there and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.